Hi you guys, it is Thursday, September 28th, 2017. My name is Doris and this is the Knit and Purl Podcast, episode 134. Hi! You can find the show notes for this podcast on knitandpurl.net. The Purl is P-E-A-R-L. In social media, I am One Fine Cow, all spelled out, on Ravelry and Twitter. I am One Fine Design, the number one, on Facebook and Etsy. And I am Doris M. Smith, all lowercase and smooshed together, on Instagram. All of those social media links are also in the show notes, so please go over and click and find me and follow, and that would be wonderful, and I'll follow you back. This podcast has a Ravelry group, which is the Knit and Purl podcast group, also linked in the show notes and in the down bar below. We have Ravelry group birthday shout outs, and these birthdays happened between September 15th to the end of the month. We have Tangled Mania, who is Jen. Her birthday was on the 24th. We have With Buttons, who is Shelly. Her birthday is today. Happy birthday. We have Peaches 71751, who is Peg. Her birthday was on the 17th. And we have Shmoofy, whose birthday was on the 19th. So, happy birthday. I hope that you had a wonderful, or are having a wonderful birthday, that you got good gifts that were fibery and yarny related, and that you eat birthday cake, and that you got to spend time with friends and family and do the things that you wanted to do on your birthday. So that leads us into the next knit along, crochet along. We are going to do in October and November pumpkin spice latte, crochet or knit along. And I will link, I will put up a thread. I haven't done it yet. I will start a thread in the next few days for this, and with all the rules. I haven't had the brain width to sit down in, but it's going to be like most all of the knit alongs and crochet alongs, started on October 1st or after, finished and posted by November 30th. Pumpkin spice latte, anything that you can link to the season, which is, coming up on the holiday season, coming up on fall. We have pumpkin spice lattes, which I haven't had my first one yet. Coming soon. Anything orange, green, fall. If you can link it to a pumpkin spice latte or the fall season, it is welcome. So, looking forward to that. I have a couple skeins of yarn that I'm going to try and use during this time. So that leads us into Story of the Week and Stash Enhancement. There hasn't been much progress on any of my whips these last couple of weeks, because Sunday after the last podcast, I came down with a ferocious stomach virus, and it had me down for like 2 days, and I didn't touch anything fiber related, and I didn't get that spinning done I wanted to get done. And then over this past weekend, I was preparing and enjoying myself during a girls' day card party, Gilmore Girls themed card party. It was so much fun. I enjoyed the whole process, but in that process I didn't get a lot of knitting or crocheting or anything done, but I have some things to show you, so that's what we'll do. Stashing was done, and I will grab it right here. I purchased some of this yarn for Christmas knitting. It's just some, Red Heart Super Saver in the color Mistletoe, in preparation for, I'm contemplating knitting a bunch of mug hugs and putting in with the mug hug a card for Starbucks or the DD. I thought that was nice, and for my coworkers. So bought that in prep for that. I wanted to buy more things, but I limited myself to just this. And the Saturday after I last podcast, I was up late and I was watching Funko Boy, who is Smells Like Yarn podcast, and he was talking about AliExpress and the things that he purchased there. So I went over and perused, and I am purchasing a few things. I got a Knit Pro Zing, which is a US 8, and it is I think a 32-inch circular to try. Yay! And I bought a pair of another Zing, but they're 3mm, and the picture showed them to be like a 6 or 7-inch, just a single point set of needles, like 6 inches, 7 inches at the most. This is what I got. Now, I don't have any use for this. I was looking forward to having a smaller set, of needles to use to make mitered blanket squares with, mitered squares with sock yarn. So instead of sending this back, which would be a headache because it's in China, I decided Ted is going to help me. He's going to cut them down, and these little points they can't get them off. So we're just going to cut them off, and I'm going to try to find a bead or something to put on as the stopper or whatever. So they'll be what I want them to be, only kind of made from us. But I thought that was, I was going to try to get the picture up, but to show you what I saw in comparison to what I got, but yeah. So that's all the stash, and that's all the story, I think. Let me look just to make sure I didn't forget to say something. Yeah, I said more than I had on. So we're going to go to the Health Pearl, which is honey and cinnamon. Okay. Honey and cinnamon. And the page looks like this. And the title is, "Here is what happens if you eat honey and cinnamon daily." The beginning of the article says, honey and cinnamon and honey mixture has been used in India for centuries as a natural home remedy. It has also been used in traditional Chinese medicine. The magical mixture of cinnamon and honey has amazing health benefits. It is a cure for a huge number of diseases. Following are some of the amazing benefits of cinnamon and honey. It says it helps to treat cancer, and if you read in further, it says specifically stomach cancer. Consuming mixture of 1 teaspoon of honey and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon daily for about 3 months will be extremely beneficial for patients with stomach cancer. Cure for arthritis. I'm reading the article. I don't know. But it says consuming with a cup of hot water, 2 tablespoons of honey, and a teaspoon of the powdered cinnamon is good for arthritis. prevention of the flu. Cure for acne, it says to apply a mixture of cinnamon and honey to the acne area daily before going to bed and washing it off in the morning. It's supposed to strengthen the immune system, help cure stomach pain and stomach ulcers, increase life expectancy, a cure for skin infections. Says to apply a mixture of cinnamon and honey to the affected area of the skin for about half an hour and then rinse it with warm water. Reduces cholesterol, prevents heart attack and treatment of heart diseases, cure of cold. In case of cold, take about 1/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon mixed with a tablespoon of honey for 3 consecutive days. It's an ideal remedy for a cough, treatment for infertility. Okay, helps to lose weight. It's a cure for hair loss and baldness. It says mix honey, cinnamon, and olive oil, 1 teaspoon each, and apply to the scalp daily for about 15 minutes before you wash your hair. Remedy for toothache, it says to mix the cinnamon and honey, 4 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of honey, and apply it to the aching tooth. The pain will significantly reduce. Apply 3 times a day for best results. Combats fatigue, and finally, an instant relief for a insect sting. A couple of tablespoons of warm water, mix 2 teaspoons of honey and a teaspoon of cinnamon powder. Apply the mixture gently to the area. It will instantly reduce the pain. So, Health Girl, cinnamon and honey. If you are interested in reading the full article, there's a link in the show notes. Okay. Next, I have one faux, one very small faux. And believe me, when you see it, you're going to think, oh, you're just showing the same one. No, I'm not. I need another mug hug in the same color. I also knit a pink one, but I don't have a picture, so I've knit a pink one and I knit another one of these mug hugs. This is something simple that I can just have on the desk and pick it up when I'm just sitting there to knit a few rows. Very simple. It is a free pattern on Ravelry by Rebecca Gunderson. The yarn is Barrett Super Value in the Fresh Lilac colorway. I use size or US 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter 4-inch circular. I do magic loop, and I'm going to be knitting quite a bit more of these, like I said, as Christmas gifts. So that is all of the finished objects, and I have 3 works in progress that have gotten, some have gotten more love than others, and we'll just get into it, shall we? I'm going to grab something that's just sitting out right here. This is my comfy raglan sweater. It is a free pattern on Ravelry by Jenny Dolan. And I'm using like reclaimed or stash acrylic and a 9-inch circular, or a US 9, 5.5 millimeter needle, 40-inch circular, doing magic loop. And it says I'm having the best time knitting it, and I was, till I got to the arms. So here we have it. I did finish one arm, as you can see, and I put the needles in the other arm. Here it is. I'm just using a mix of acrylic leftovers and such. And I want to show you, I don't know if I mentioned this before, you can see as I go down further that I did some increases at the waist here for the extra stuff in the trunk and what have you. And I modified the pattern by including a split rib to add more room to. So I just got one more sleeve to knit. I just did like a elbow length sleeve so that it's not going to have to be pushed out of the way. And there you have it. soon be done. Hopefully next podcast it will be completed. We'll see. Okay, I did a little bit of work on this shawl, which I'm just knitting. I never talked about this. I actually started this with the beginning start of the Cozy Schlanket, and I can't remember what I did here and how much, but I started with a garter tab, and I started my increases the way we do with the Cozy Schlanket, but then I just did garter and did stripes on this. So it's just a double triangle shawl, garter stitch, stripes. I'm using, I believe, like I said, both of these yarns, I believe, are the Cascade Yarns Eco-Friendly. I'm going to turn this around. This is how much I have left of the balls. And this is in the way now. This is what I have left of the balls. Yeah. So, still a lot more to knit, and I get to the point where I'm ready for it to be done, I'm contemplating making some felted slippers or something. So, here's where I was last time, and I did knit 8 rows. And there's some of my stitch markers, progress keepers. Trying to keep my face out of it. And there's some of my stitch markers. Okay. Did I tell you I'm using US 10 6mm Addi Turbo 40 circulars? Not a lot of progress, but 8 rows. And finally, the last work in progress, excuse me, itchy, is in my bag by Knit Spin Farms, Joanne Springs of Knit Spin Farms. I have a crochet project. It is my Wonder Woman shawl, which is a free pattern on Ravelry by Carissa Browning. The yarn is 2 yarns. One is Barocco Vintage in the charcoal colorway, and I have on the round, it's also a DK, Everyday DK in the color Whimsy, and I'm using a H hook. The pattern calls for fingering weight, but I had this lovely yarn, and I just figure my shawl will be more dense than the other. I'm using the same needles, and here is half of what is done. I just finished the last contrast color portion, and I'm going into the filling up these dips and finishing up. I love it. My Wonder Woman shawl wrap. It is fun. It is really fun, enjoyable crochet. And again, this might be something that is also finished by the next podcast. Da, 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 da. Wonder Woman. That's it. That's all there is to talk about. So this is how much of the whimsical yarn I have left out of 2 skeins. On the round, awesome colors. One ball is more muted than the other, but, and here is the charcoal. broke a vintage DK. And I'm gonna have a lot left over, and I will probably do a matching Ricky hat. Okay, I'm gonna put this over here for now. Get busy, Sheila. on that Wonder Woman. I'm almost finished. Okay. Again, I told you the spinning, I got sick and didn't do anything. So the Pinterest find is another just for fun this week. Come on. Well, it's not going to do what it did earlier. Let me go back. Look on it. Okay, it's not. So here it is. Just for fun. The little voices in my head are telling me, or keep telling me, buy more yarn, get more yarn. Anyway, you can read. I thought that was cute. They keep telling me to get more yarn too, and I keep trying to ignore them. No stumble this week. So it's going to be a short one, but in the down bar below and in the bottom of the show notes, there's a link to my Etsy store. Please go over and have a look around. Like a few things, and if you see something that you just can't live without, I will happily sell it to you and send it to you as soon as possible. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time for the next episode of the Knit and Purl podcast. Bye, you guys.